Hey, how's it going? It's Tim Brown, and this is the Hook Better Leads podcast, and I'm here with Jeff Wraley of Groundwork. How you doing, man?
Doing great. Excited to be here.
And we're talking about how to qualify sooner and how to stop chasing bad leads. You know, the things that we're going to talk about today. How can too many leads be a bad thing? How does better qualification equal a higher closing rate? And why and how that you can use more video in your sales process. Just to give them a quick snippet, we're not going to do a pitch right now, but Jeff, could you just give them a little bit of like what you're working on and how it's affecting the industry?
Yeah, so maybe I'll just back up and the trends that we see in the market are obviously virtual everything, right? So our whole concept is based around how consumers that are buying nearly everything digitally are going to be buying home improvement services down the line. So that's the kind of the space that we work in. And there's a lot of exciting stuff maybe we'll get into a little bit later, but yeah, that's kind of what Groundwork's all about, is just reimagining that buying process so that it's more convenient for the contractor, but also super convenient and amazing for the homeowner as well.
I love it. So, and you guys are the kind of the fundamental component of the service right now is around using video, actually helping homeowners give you video in the sales process. So they're qualifying themselves by like, and I think some people, it's part of the process to be like, send some photos of what you're working on. And you guys are kind of making the platform to do video through the platform to qualify.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it's a branded experience. So we're not like an Angie's List or a home advisor model. We aren't a lead gen type of deal, but we just provide an easy way for homeowners to interact with contractors. And so contractors brand the tool, we make them look good, so that collaboration can happen with video in a super, super quick way. And qualification and that whole experience is really elevated.
Sweet. So it's hellogroundwork.com. We'll get a little bit into that later. But first of all, too many leads, man. You're talking to a lot of remodelers, contractors, home services where they have too many leads and they're honestly dropping the ball. And we were talking some before this about we want to work on our business, not always just in our business, like basically frantically responding to leads and letting stuff fall. So how can it be a bad thing, if you have too many leads?
Yeah, so I mean, that's kind of what everybody's experiencing right now. I mean, with the labor shortage and customer demand and impending inflation, material challenges, there's just so many things going on in the world right now, and that are affecting contractors and how they can deliver on projects and their schedules and all that. And the demand just from homeowners alone puts a lot of contractors in a bind. So a lot of what we see challenges that contractors get into is they just don't do a good job, one, responding, but then also if they are busy, the messaging around that can be done in a way. It might sound something like, we aren't taking more, we're booked out to 2022 or whatever. And, so it's kind of just like, well, sorry about you, homeowner. We can't help you. Now, what we think is a better way to do that is think about how you can use those opportunities to build your brand instead of damage it. Yeah. Those are opportunities. You've likely paid for that lead one way or another. And you've earned it.
So you might have paid for it by doing SEO for the last 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And now you have 10 to 20 leads coming. I'm thinking about a customer and 10 to 20 leads coming in right now. And all of those are kind of experiencing a negative experience. If they're not getting responded to, if there's not a system in place, it's actually like makes my heart hurt a little bit. Cause it's like work that I did or our team did to make these leads happen. And at a different point in your business, you would have been grateful to have those, and just the busyness of life and the
Yep.
quantity of jobs you currently have on your plate shouldn't make your the experience that people have bad. You shouldn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean, to me, it's not an excuse that your business should treat people less than you'd want to be treated.
Right. And I think this is something that we see also is um, business owners and the leadership team may not understand exactly what the company line is when the phone rings from those front office staff members or the salespeople, right? Like, I think that is a spot for business owners to understand. Like, you should have a plan on how you're responding and what is happening when those conversations are going down, because it is an opportunity for a brand moment to increase the engagement, to create some sort of an impact in the customer's mind, so that, because they are asking about a project now, chances are you're not the only busy contractor in the world right now, right? Like, they may have that project 3-6 months down the road because they can't find anybody else to work with them either. So there are opportunities that just because you can't get to them right now doesn't mean that they won't come back with the same project or a similar different project in line.
And another thing is a lot of contractors do this like pricing jumps and valleys kind of thing. Like, the pricing goes up to unreasonable levels, like when they're busy, and then they drop it and do like these dumb jobs for like friends and family or something. Like, I've seen those peaks and valleys too. And ultimately you got to find that middle ground. That's like, to be honest, if you give I'll just give a very specific example. I'm sure this person's not listening. If he is, I'm sorry. I love you. I appreciate you. I've done a referral to a contractor, several actually, because people ask us just because we know, a lot of people. And the price that they gave them, I knew it was because they're busy. You know what I mean? Like, I knew it was because they're busy and they're just kind of pushing stuff off a little bit. But like, literally, it made me not want to refer them again, because it was like significantly higher than probably like a high average. Because I think you want to hit that mid-premium high average price as much as you possibly can, and not do these jumps in pricing, because ultimately it could negatively affect all the people that are referring you business, and then they hear that it was a negative experience, or like a kind of a unrealistically high number just because you're busy. So I think that there's kind of something to that. Like, get that. I don't know. I don't think there's different industries. I'm trying to like understand them, but I think part of it is like, also like, if you're out past 6 months or a year, like, you should be raising your high average a little bit, and not being ridiculous about it.
Yeah, I think from the pricing perspective, I think, I've heard somebody say the other day, like, every contractor out there probably could raise their prices 10% right now. Yeah. I think that's probably true, actually.
Just don't do it 50% when you're busy, and then minus 30.
Yeah, I think, and I mean, there is some like dynamic pricing in there, and like sometimes, I call it the FU price. I don't know if that's a
it's like, no, you can say fuck you price. You can say that on here. It's just ultimately like, you don't want to do that to people that are referring you business, especially if there's like, hey,
that's
I would be a long-term referral person for people.
And so there's relationship stuff that goes into that. I mean, there's just some, that's just some business acumen that goes into it. And I mean, even if you have to give the FU type of pricing out there because you are so busy, there's a way to couch that and say like, hey, listen, I'm really sorry. My crew is backlogged so hard right now. Like, the only way that we can do this and justify this type of a project right now, it's not you, it's not the person. Like, we're a business and we're struggling. You know, like, get a little bit, put some flavor behind it. Like, do a personal touch if you have to do something like that. But yeah, it's a
I mean,
touchy
like,
hit
just
and
real
miss.
quick on that, just to wrap up that point, we'll get on to the next question is,
Yeah.
I think also, to me, staying small is selfish. That's another thing that I have
Mm.
stuck in my brain. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes, not saying always, but sometimes staying small is selfish. Why are you not building another crew? Why
Yeah.
are you not getting a little bit, getting someone else to be involved in quotes?
Right.
Why, like, the in your, on your business, not in your business thing, to me
Yep.
is a little bit selfish because you could help more people. And I know that I personally find that to be an encouraging mindset. If you don't, I'm not saying you have to do what I think you should do, but I think it's an encouraging mindset that literally getting little, literally getting bigger. I think some people have this craftsman mindset where, like, because I'm such a craftsman, I have to be involved in every tiny detail of every project. That's actually the best thing I can do for these homeowners. Or is it selfish and they don't care about every tiny detail as much, and they care about, hey, could you actually do 10 more projects this next year if you create one more crew? Like, anyways, so getting up on the soapbox there, but so for you, you've seen this in action. How does better qualification mean that people can have a higher closing rate on the types of jobs they want?
Yeah. So I'll flip this question a little bit.
Go for it. It was
I
a
think
little clunky.
what Yeah, yeah. So what we talk about is cost to service a lead. And when we're talking with contractors, it's they likely are not thinking about it this way, but what we challenge contractors to think about is how are you servicing your leads now, and what does that cost you? Probably cost you money for the vehicles and the time to go out and see the projects, couple hours per lead or whatever it is. um, there is a cost to that structure. And our philosophy is that there is a better way that is at least complementary to that existing process. And many of the contractors that we're working with have completely replaced that process,
Mm.
and use Groundwork as their default sales tool. But so the math on the situation is less about, I mean, the closing rate certainly matters, but how much time and effort and equated to dollars are you spending on a to get a project in the door? Multiply that and like figure that out. That's a really interesting number to me. And a lot of people will still do sales appointments after they collaborate with a tool like Groundwork. They'll do an in-person appointment, and those close rates on in-person appointments after qualifying the lead really, really, really well with Groundwork or just through some other kind of traditional lead qualification methods, it should be much, much higher. If you get them to walk through the process, walk through your process. One of the things we were talking about a little bit is the value of a sales process, just having a process.
Mhm.
No matter what it is, a homeowner will respect when you say, ask them, can I walk you through our sales process real quick?
And training someone else in is often
Yeah.
a very great way to define that, because then they say, well, what do I do if this happens? And you do something if that happens. There's a, in programming, it's if this then that.
Right.
Like, you have that, but you haven't defined it.
Yeah.
So defining what's next when they do this, that's really useful to actually get that down on paper or on a Google Doc or
Right.
whatever it happens to be, having that clarity and solid tools.
Yep. Absolutely.
So why and how can people use more video in their sales process? And just in general, first of all, let's talk about it, and then certainly segue into a little bit of a description of your guys's tool and the workflow there.
Yeah. So, I think there's so many ways that anybody tuning in, anybody with a smartphone really, which is, all of us pretty much, has seen the power of video, right? It'll stop your scroll in whatever app you're in. It's more engaging. It's more accepted. I think the pandemic did some really interesting kind of speeding up of the adoption of video as well. Just the Zoom usage. I've seen charts of Zoom usage, and it's just crazy how the video tool has proliferated and really changed the way people want to interact with each other and build relationships and work with businesses. So there's a lot of stats out there on that whole shift. But what we have seen is that, and maybe let me mention one more thing. I think there's good video and bad video.
Okay.
And good video is authentic. It's short and sweet in many cases.
Yeah.
It is, findable and usable across platforms. I'm thinking more in the B2B sense. Bad video can be overproduced. And also bad video is stuff that you are perfecting and, putting a lot of effort into that, I think just get it out there is what we see.
And iterate, right? Like
iterate. That's right.
Do your first one and then learn from it and then do your second one, but don't sit there like on the first one trying to make the perfect forever video. Like
that's right. Yep. Yeah. And I mean, in terms of tools, and I'll talk a little bit more about Groundwork, but my setup here, which is not great. I need to turn my light on. This would be good.
There we go.
Hey, look at that. I mean, this is a lamp from my basement. You don't have to get too crazy with it.
Yeah.
And what we coach a lot is selfie video. Contractors are out and about, and they're doing stuff, and homeowners, and other people in the realm, your customers, want to see you being a contractor. They don't want to see you. They love it.
It's like a great vibe. Like whether you're in a truck, whether you're just like walking to your office or you're out and about, you're on a job site. People love that stuff.
Yeah.
Like
they just want to see you be you.
And selfie is like it's a style like in its own right. Like that's not weird or bad. You don't have to have a little video crew around with you all the time. It's literally like a lot of those, we've looked at the Facebook pages of different contractors, and we've been involved in the pretty produced videos, and then they'll put out a selfie video and boom, that one gets like twice as many views because the content was good. And because people kind of like that. It's kind of like a little bit more like laissez-faire vibe. It's a little cooler almost in a certain way. Yeah,
and you gotta have at least a little bit of an idea of what you're saying. There's a little bit of skill there, but
I like bullet, like as far as like content marketing, I like bullets, like having bullets and like I'm gonna cover these 3 to 5 things in this. I mean, I think it's good to outline. Like I'll even put it like if I'm doing a selfie video, like I'll put it up on the whiteboard, or there's this great app on my phone called BigView, BIGVU, and it's like a teleprompter for your phone.
Nice.
And you're able to just like look at the phone and it teleprompts for you right there. It's
Sweet.
Freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of little tools to make this easier. And it's people like to, it's the next best thing to face-to-face handshake. Like ultimately what we want is a handshake, but this is
and I mean,
it comes,
especially for high touch things like remodeling, having that content out there, in a lot of what our product does, our goal is for you to be on second base in the first conversation that you have with the homeowner, because they know you, they feel comfortable with you, they feel heard with their product or their project. And if you accomplish a couple of those early steps, which video can play a huge part in, of them knowing you, you knowing them, like, man, you're in a really good spot for a sales conversation at that point. And I mean, in our product, we encourage contractors to put a selfie style video in what we call our project survey. So our product launches on a contractor's website. They have the opportunity to customize an onboarding form. And in that onboarding form, they can load up a video. And so we encourage a less than 30-second video, quick introduction for your company and who you are, what you would like them to include in the video that they submit about their project. So we make it super easy for a homeowner to submit, hey, here's what we're doing. Here's what we want to get done in our house, and kind of point out. And I liken it to the MTV Cribs walk around. Right?
Yep.
Like, remember that? Like, here's the fridge. We want the fridge from over here to over here. Provide that walkthrough, and in the video, in the selfie video from the contractor, it's just an introduction. Describe what you want them to show you, and thank them.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty darn easy. That is a simple way that, but it's so valuable. It's so valuable because not many people do it. Not many people have a tool that makes that easy enough to pull off. And, it just makes it super easy to.
It's kind of funny because people, like, for instance, with contact forms, for instance, we really like to do like telling them exactly what to do, like the helper text on your contact form. Like,
right.
Like, we like to have a picture of the person that's going to reach out, and like a little description. And honestly, on our new website, there's going to be a video right next to it that says what's about to happen. And then here's, next step. But like, just assume we're all dumb and we need exact instruction.
Yep.
Honestly, that's empathy.
Mm-hmm.
That's empathy, because it's unclear if we're a homeowner coming to your website or talking to you over whatever. Everything's a little unclear. It might be clear to you what is up next, but just a reminder, most of us aren't in it all the time.
Right.
We need you to make it super dead clear to us. And that's empathy. And people appreciate that. And like, that is honestly, there's basically in this, like, society now, like even banking is down to like, that's why software as a service is such a beautiful thing. And sometimes like for instance, bookkeeping, our bookkeeper has almost a software as a service vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I want it to be kind of all taken care of. I don't want, and it's a sign of sophistication as well.
Yeah.
Of like, if you're able to automate little things and make it easy, then they're not thinking they're paying for your every touch. So like, I think just the mindset of like, how could you make your contracting services feel a little bit more automated, feel a little bit more sophisticated, feel a little bit more modern, because that says a lot about the quality of your service. And I think people want that. People are used to that now. Like millennials are like more than 50% of the adult population now. We want it.
Yeah.
We actually think that's better than having a part. Like, my wife gets mad when she has to like talk to somebody too soon in the process.
Yeah.
And it's like, honestly, she thinks like it's just old school. Like, so she likes, and she's like she's 30, I'm 35 or something like that. I don't know what I am anymore, how old I am. I'm not paying close attention, but you know what I'm saying? Like younger people are like really expecting this type of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, the fact of the matter is, it's not that difficult, and we were talking a little bit about working in your business and on your business. It's like, if you're looking to make strides and really want an opportunity to work on your business, it really doesn't take a lot of research and effort to start to do that, especially on the branding and like the top end of the customer journey. That those touches are not difficult it's not difficult to put that stuff on your website, to put a simple video of yourself on your website. Any website supports it. And if you do it, if you take the literally 5 to 10 minutes to do it, you're going to be ahead of 98% of your competition. I mean, that's just just the truth of the matter. So
I
not
love
difficult, but it really, really helps kind of move that conversation forward, and set you apart from your competition.
That's awesome. Jeff, could you give us, who is this for and what's the next step for those people if they want to get in touch with you to help improve this process?
Yeah. So this is for Groundwork. We work with remodelers, painting contractors, outdoor living and hardscape contractors. Those are the main groups, but we have all sorts of different kinds of contractors.
It's a little bit more on the, like a little bit higher end, like bigger project, aesthetic stuff, like those types of projects.
Yeah. So we do what we call improvement as opposed home improvement contracting as opposed to home service. So a little bit of differentiation there. Yeah. Anything that you think, if you got a video from a homeowner describing their project before you had to run your tail across town, if that's you, then we can likely help you out and smooth out your sales process. The website's hellogroundwork.com. And yeah, that's a good place. We've got a self-guided demo. And believe it or not, there's a video of my mug describing the self-guided demo on the site. So we practice what we preach in terms of video and getting out there on it. So yeah, give us a shout, check it out. Love to hear from anybody in the audience who might find some value in what we do.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jeff, for being on the podcast. It's hellogroundwork.com, everyone. Go check them out. Go say what's up to Jeff and his team. And of course, the podcast is put on by hookagency.com and Hook Agency all over social. Thank you guys for joining us, and talk later.
All right. Thanks, Tim.